talk about why people cheat. And, well, I'm guessing everyone pretty much knows why. But sometimes it gets really confusing, and people are like, why would you do that? Why would people do that? Why can't they just divorce? Why can't they just break up? So in this video, we're going to be looking through 7 reasons why people cheat in relationships. And I'm going to read a few testimonies about cheating and how it affected people's lives. And as we know, you shouldn't be cheating. Break up, divorce. We live in a world where you get to do that now, so there's no excuse. So without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, alright, so the 7 reasons why people cheat in relationships. First reason says anger or revenge. Now, the reasonings for this particular reason, I don't agree with. I'm sorry, I'm just gonna have to say that now, because that is not an excuse. Some people will be like, okay, revenge, anger for not igniting something. So like, you're not giving me enough sex, that means I'm gonna cheat. You're not meeting my needs, so I'm gonna cheat. And these people who do that will claim that they are the ones who communicated, like they are the best communicators in the world, and the people they just married just conveniently not good at communication. So that's very convenient. So it says sometimes people cheat on their partners as an act of revenge. For example, if one partner has been flirting with a friend or even cheating, the other partner may cheat as well as a form of payback. To be honest, I don't agree. I don't believe in cheating back. To be honest, if you do that thing where, okay, this person cheated on you, and now you're like, okay, now I'm gonna go and sleep with someone else, it should be like after you've broken up with this person, because at the end of the day you're still in a relationship with that person, and it's not really getting back at them. Like, it's not. And those people will just be like, see, that's why I cheated on you in the first place, because of your attitude. Like, I've heard that so many times, and it's just like, hearing that, it's just like, it's never going to convince me. So the reasons for anger driven infidelity include frustration when a partner doesn't understand the other person or their needs, anger at a partner who's never around, anger at a partner who doesn't seem to contribute to the relationship, anger or frustration after an argument. Okay, I really don't agree with the last one. You argue, and this is the thing, a lot of men will say it, but people in general are like, marriage and relationships, they're not supposed to be easy. You have ups and downs, and there's things that you go through. It's not all peaches and butterflies. And this is exactly why I avoid relationships like that I'm not happy in. Like, I wouldn't like want to be in one where I think I can't leave and I'm gonna have to work it out. The thing is, right, I think it's probably a toxic trait of mine, but I really, really don't want to be in a relationship, because I am the kind of person to be like, the moment something goes bad, it's over. Because I'm not going to teach you or train you how to do things, and I'm not going to be like, okay, this is something that we're going to have to discuss again. No, because once you've done wrong, it's over in my book. Like, honestly, it's not, I don't actually believe it's toxic to do that. There are so many people who just get into relationships and stay in them because they feel like it's like a project they need to work on. I feel like people don't appreciate the gift of divorce and ending relationships. Divorce is a thing. Leave, okay? Leave. And that's why when people try and warn people, okay, about financial issues and stuff, everyone's like, oh, eugenics, eugenics. I don't believe in eugenics. And I don't believe poor people don't deserve to have fun or have children. And that's not really what I'm getting at. It's not just about being poor or financially dependent or anything. It's more of a sense like, okay, instead of you waiting to be with somebody and seeing who they are and waiting and thinking that you getting out of the mindset essentially of, because a lot of us who are raised in, like, especially religious communities will believe, okay, once a guy likes you, you have to be with him, that's it, and that's it for you. You're not allowed, if you end the relationship, you're not entitled to anybody else. You're not allowed to be in another relationship, especially if you're a woman and you have kids. That means, okay, all your life, for the rest of your life, you're just a mum, that's it, and you're not allowed to be loved by somebody else or get into another relationship. And that's why a lot of people feel ownership over other people. So the next reason is falling out of love. Again, divorce. Okay, look, I believe you can think you loved someone, or your love for someone isn't was based on what they showed you before they show you who they really are. Like, again, divorce is the solution. Like, and the reasoning is the dopamine rush of falling in love may not last long. Exactly. It says excitement, passion, and exhilaration of the initial phase of relationship usually fade over time, and that's what we call a pash. That's what we call a crush. That's what we call what's that word? Not affection, infatuation. Those words imply very short term things. Love is something that never really dies. That's why we think we love people. The people you love, you don't actually expect that much from. And the people you love don't stress you out like this. Like, they don't cheat on you. Like, I don't believe people love. You just get into relationships because it's something that human beings have just been doing. Like, we'll discuss this another time on this channel, but a lot of people really believe that once you are in something, that means it's love. It's not like that, especially when you're bringing kids into it. It just creates a cycle, a very bad cycle. The third reason is feeling unappreciated. Again, divorce. Or look, to be honest, I think like all these reasons are just gonna, like, my solution is just divorce. Like, it's very silly. And if one person feels that they aren't receiving enough love, respect, and attention from their partner, this can cause them to look for these things elsewhere. This is mostly a reason I think men use, to be honest, because when it's convenient, and we'll talk about this in a minute, like like when people are most likely to get cheated on. Like, there's not really a timeline, but a lot of men cannot fathom, or they're just not ready, and not ready to reckon with the fact that motherhood and parenting is going to take up a lot of your time. If fathers or men really were good parents or actually participated in parenting, then there was no way they'd be mad at the mums and their wives who do the majority of the childcare for looking after the children, because it takes a lot of effort and it takes a lot of time. She's going to be tired. She's not going to always feel attractive, because a lot of men go out their way unprovoked to say that women are less attractive after they give birth to children. When they get older, when they've been seeing the same woman every single day, it gets boring. I've heard so many men say, I'm a man, I need variety. Why do you decide to get married then? And if women are the ones that are loyal, and women are the ones that only need one man, why do you get mad at these women when you cheat on them? And the women are like, I don't like this, I'm going to leave, I don't like this, I don't want you to do that. Because women only like one man, according to men's logic. So if men are polygamous by nature, they need to go and do that with somebody else. Because there are a lot of women who are willing to be polygamous and that with you, who don't care. Who, in fact, I think a lot of women prefer if men had no strings attached relationships with them. But the thing is with men is that they want offspring. They want children with you. But they don't want to be loyal to you. Loyalty is a trait that they use to say that it is a feminine thing, that women are. That's why women can follow orders. That's why, to cope with the fact that boys and men are getting low scores and not getting accepted into schools and are doing badly at schools, is to say that all women and girls are more likely to follow direction. That's their biological imperative. It's just a cope. It's a big cope. The fourth reason is a lack of commitment. Yeah, if there's somebody who's lacking commitment, if they're not fulfilling their promises, leave. I know it's not easier said than done, but the thing is, cheating is never ever going to be an excuse that I accept. And a lot of people don't accept that, because a lot of people who cheat, they don't want to be cheated on, trust me. Because the thing is, and like, people cheat. Like, people of all genders, of all sexes cheat. Like, I'm not going to say one gender cheats more than the other, but that is true. A lot more men cheat more than women do, emotionally and physically. But they don't want anyone to pretend as if they realize that. They don't want anyone to mention that. And they're okay with people pretending as if they don't understand. Like, they're okay with people thinking that these people don't know what they're doing. That's why he's saying, oh, well, that's what men do. If that's just what men do, that means we don't have to put up with it, innit? So, what's the reasoning? Lack of interest in a long-term commitment, wanting a way out of the relationship. Oh, God. See, this is the kind of people I don't like. So, difference in opinion about relationships, fear of committing even though they love their partner. That's not love, though. So, these people who cheat, they want someone either as, because the way I see it's a backup plan. You're the safety net. They want you to be loyal to them while they go out and flounder. Okay, that makes so much sense. Sexual desire. This is a reason that men use a lot, because there are a lot of women out there with high sex drives, but they don't even use that as an excuse. A lot of men do. They'll be like, they'll have like very low testosterone, or they'll have a low sperm count, or they get tired and weak, and they're like 1 minute men, or minute men, whatever they call them, minute men, 10-second men, but they'll be saying they have high sex drives. They'll be saying that, oh, they need sex all the time. No, you are just a coward. You're a coward. You lust after women. You like the variety. You're porn brained. That's what they are. Like a lot of them, really, they don't value women. And people who cheat, they don't value their partner, even though they went out of their way to go and be with those people. Nobody asks you to do that. A lot of people say, I need more sex, I need more this, then stay single. Because a lot of people know that being in a relationship makes you look more trustworthy. Being in relationships and being desired by other people makes other people be like, oh, what's going on over there? This person must be good if people like them. And then reasoning under sexual desires, desire to try something new. Break up, okay? That's it, break up. And the next reason number 6, situational factors. Infidelity sometimes happens because a partner was in a situation where the opportunity presented itself. Oh God. For example, if a person gets drunk with a co-worker, there may be a high chance of cheating. Alcohol doesn't make you do things like that. Alcohol makes your thoughts that you would normally keep in, that your inhibitions would hide, out. That's it. If you are racist, for instance, and you get drunk, you're more likely to say racist things. If you weren't already thinking about cheating, there's no way being drunk or not being drunk would have brought that out. That's the thing. Like, honestly, it doesn't make you do things unless you want to. It just makes you feel less shame about it. And people like getting drunk just so they can use it as an excuse for bad behaviour. To be honest, I'm not talking about addicts or anything. I'm talking about people who just use being drunk as an excuse for things. I'm saying being in a long distance relationship, being on vacation, feelings of low self-esteem, wanting physical comfort after a distressing event, living or working in an environment that involves a lot of physical touching and emotional connection. I think a lot of people just need to be single. That's it. We live in a society where you it's more on women. You'll get shamed, but for a lot of men, you won't get shamed for having sex without being married. The problem is you're doing it while you're in a committed relationship or claiming to be in one. So, yeah, and then number 7 is self-esteem. Wanting a boost to self-esteem can also, like, it's true, like, to me, I'm not reading the rest of that, to make you feel attractive, confident, and empowered, whatever. Like, honestly, it's just basic reasons, because a lot of people will be like, okay, I know why people do it, but then when you think about it again, you're like, no, why do people do this? Like, you're like, okay, what's the concrete reason? Like, it's still good to read these things because a lot of us think it's that black and white, but there's more things that go into it. So I'm going to read a couple of comments I found on Quora, and like I've said before on this channel, Quora is not somewhere that I like going because it's just something. Okay, because if you want to see proper racism and misogyny, go on Quora. So one person, anonymous, says, because I am sexually frustrated, so I'm assuming this is a past, but some people have very bad grammar on here. My wife is not passionate about sex. She goes to sleep early, never initiates sex. When I do initiate, most of the time she's not interested. She just doesn't want to think about what do I, oh god, it's bad. What do I like doing sex? She likes to receive oral but wouldn't give back. I feel like this is very, this is made up. Because there's no woman on this world who would not give it to a man. Because a lot of women feel guilty about asking for oral themselves. So they'll do it so they can get it. A lot of men are actually like, they'll give head, they don't even care about returning it. I don't think this is real. Or at least he's embellishing it, because I know this isn't man. I would initiate sex and she would say she's sleepy, tired, busy. I got sexually frustrated. I am sure when your wife is not cooperative in sex and avoids it, most likely she doesn't love you enough either. I would try my best to please her during sex, I'm sure. But it seems like she just doesn't enjoy it with me. I needed sex and intimacy, so I cheated, and I will cheat again. Sorry. Someone said go and get another wife, and then somebody agreed. Story of my life right there. You are not alone. I know firsthand that my performing oral on women receive raver reviews. Sure, yeah, I never got the favour return. What the hell? I washed immaculately, shaved, did everything I could. You want the only one, my friend. See, you know, actually, they may be telling the truth about this, but this is just women doing to men what men have been doing to us for years. Because whenever I hear about it, like from my friends and stuff, they're like, I don't even like doing it and blah blah blah. I'm just like, why do you do it then? It's like, otherwise he won't do it for you. Or, and I'm like, does he do it for you? And they're like, no. And I'm just there like, so what? Why is everyone yelling at me? I'm not missing out on anything. Clearly, like, it's so silly. Okay, and then somebody else said, this person Mike Steele said because she was cheating on me, which is a good reason actually. But like I've said before, break up because I don't like the idea. Oh, I don't believe in the idea of cheating back because that now will just make you the same person if you're only waiting for them to cheat on you before you cheat back. That's not a good reason. That isn't a good reason. If you're better than this person, if you don't want to be conflated with this person, then you break up with them and then prove to them that you can get something better, that you can get other people. Because a lot of people who cheat smile in your face, and when they get caught, they start crying on their knees and everything, blah blah blah, because they think that they can manipulate you into staying with them. A lot of people cheat again because you forgave them the first time. They're like, because the embarrassment of divorce and breaking up, and your family members and friends being like, what happened to so and so? You don't want to explain to them, which is valid, and that's why we should get rid of the shame, especially on women, for being single in the first place. And then that's why they like trading your identity in. When you get relationships, when you get kids, you've turned into wife, mother, Mrs. Husband instead of who you were at birth. And that's the reason why we see women as, worse for cheating or worse for staying. You staying with your kids and your husband for cheating on you is worse than him cheating on you. And I hate that. And I hate that especially because that is mostly on women, to be honest. Okay. So this is one of these answers where it gets cut off because I think you have to like subscribe to Quora to get the rest of it. But it basically said I had 3 close male friends that were just rampant cheaters. Their wives were great people. Their sex life at home was good. No unusual problems in the marriage. All the explanations and excuses here are just that true. Cheaters are just cheaters. It's just that simple. One of my exes from my younger days cheated on me. She cheated on every guy she was with. She was just a cheater. Abusers beat people. Drunks drink. Drug addicts get high. It's true. I can't read the rest of it, obviously. But it's true. It's very true. I'm sorry. Like, people, and even this video, to be honest, a lot of people are like, why do they do this? Why do you do that? They must be so and so and so and so and so. We all have our opinions about people who do that. But they're just that. They are literally just what they are. So, making yourself feel as though you are the problem here, that you did something to make them do that, is something that we need to get out of our heads about. And then this Joe Fete person said, it's very long though, it really came down to the selfish need for sex, and there was a lack of sex. It came to a screeching halt about a year into the marriage. Talked about it, tried various things to give hints about my needs, also discussing my concern with her. Counsellors involved, but nothing really changed. Mind you, I should have gotten divorced immediately at this point, so they know. Here in Quora, I'm trying to focus on answering a question on why I did what I did, so spare me the lectures. You see, a lot of cheaters, when they get caught, there's like, I said sorry, so we should stop talking about it anymore. When you do bad things to people, you don't get to decide when people stop talking about it or stop being affected by it. You just say sorry because you're sorry. And that's why I don't accept a lot of apologies, because I know you're not sorry. You're just sorry so you can make yourself feel better. I know. It was wrong to cheat. It crushed her soul when she found out. For me, the pain that led me to cheat was based on lack of intimacy. A lot of men, they'll say that their love language is physical touch. That's just them being a slut. There's sluts and whores and prostitutes, and that's why they try and get us to be on board with it. Like, I'm not on board with you being a slut as a man, you know. That's not for you. Men think they get to shop around, and they think that women just have to accept that and say it's biology. Okay, they say no, I need a physical release, it's intimacy, and blah blah blah. When they say intimacy, they're talking sex. Because when a woman, because intimacy is different things. When a woman's like, oh, let's talk about our days to each other, they say, ugh. Because they don't want to listen to the roll your eyes, and they tune you out and be like, yeah, yeah, whatever, blah, blah, I'm going to play the game now. That's what they do. They say to us that, oh, we don't want to hear about your bullshit day. We don't want to hear about what goes on with you. And we don't care about that. We don't even listen to you guys. We just tune out your voice and we just take what we need to hear. That's why when you say paragraphs to them, they'll pick up one thing that you said. They'll discard everything else you said because they don't care. That's the thing. A lot of men will, and then they'll say that they're solution orientated. No, they just like taking a piece of information and beating that down so that it can annoy you so much you'll never talk about it again. They're not solution orientated. They don't have enough knowledge. They're not intelligent. They're just rude. That's just it. And then says the guy continues saying, I simply need a physical release. See, I started to masturbate. Eventually turned to porn. About that time, hookup websites were created. Early 2000s, blah, blah, blah. So this must have been a while ago. I never had affairs or relationships. Oh, that makes it so much better. I had brief encounters with similarly situated women, sure. For release, blowjobs 5 or 6 times from ladies who seemed very willing to help and wanted very little in return, comparatively speaking. This is how men, they get girls and women to do things for them. Boys and men do this to girls and women. They talk about blue balls. That's why blue balls is a thing. They could get themselves off. Like this guy just said, he started off masturbating, like self-pleasuring himself. But no, they need a woman to do it because they get off on the degradation. A lot of them, when you go down on them, they see it as conquering you. They're like, oh, look at this fabulous woman, this wonderful girl, going down on her knees, submitting to me in a way. Because that's the way they can hang on. There's the last legs of the patriarchy and misogyny that they're legally allowed to enforce on us. Like, they literally describe it that way. What's the difference between you masturbating and using a fleshlight? No, this fleshlight has feelings, and that's what they get off on. You could have continued masturbating. No, but you had to get a woman or several women to come and quote unquote help you out and that. Because it's not worth it unless they're cheating on you with somebody. So, then I did have intercourse one time. Oh. Look at the flippant way he's just explaining it. So, well, I didn't have real affairs. Like, it was blowjobs. And now he's just saying, well, okay, I did have one intercourse. Then I did have intercourse one time with someone one night while on a business trip. Again, cheating is wrong, sure. Of course you believe that. Soul crushing. And the break of the vow. I learned that you can't change people that don't want to be changed. Again, I realised I should have divorced her immediately. Instead of trying to change her, it was wrong to cheat. I know I'm sounding like I'm blaming her. However, this was the reason I sought relief. She and I were on different ends of the spectrum when it came to intimacy, and the gap wasn't apparent until a year into the marriage. You see the thing about men, whenever they cheat, they say it's the exact same story. So the whole time they were courting these women were somehow proving to them that to be good wives and mothers, and conveniently after marriage, within a year or within 2 years, and probably they have a baby, suddenly the woman doesn't put out anymore. She doesn't have sex with you anymore. Suddenly she's so repressed and so prudish. Has she always been this way? And that's why a lot of men, right, they say that they marry women out of convenience. They marry the woman that's ready to marry them because they've been sluts for like 15 years and now they're 36 or something and ready to settle down. And then they get a wife who's like 10 years younger than them, and suddenly she's not having sex with you anymore, especially after she's given birth to your children. What are you doing to be sexy for her? What are you doing to be intimate with her? Are you listening to her? Are you letting her have an opinion? No, I don't think so. Because conveniently, these evil women are not having sex with them. Are not giving them any form of intimacy or having any form of communication. Very conveniently, all these women are in cahoots, depriving their husband of something that these husbands are owed. If men didn't think they owned women, they wouldn't be upset about that. But I digress. And then somebody said Bartholomew Chibuke James says, simple answer. I never cheated on my wife. However, men cheat on their wives for different reasons. Most men, it's just for fun. Some said it's temptation, while others said they are just not satisfied with their wives, meaning they are bored. At present, I don't have any reason to cheat on my wife. I try to address any reason that will push me towards cheating on my wife as fast as possible. Men act as if they're just like standing on the edge of a cliff, and at the bottom of the cliff is cheating. They're acting as if someone's pushing them. Then there's always going to be reasons why, and then women need to work desperately hard to make sure that they don't. They said, "Oh, look, I'm going to," you know, like when for instance, toddlers, they have like a metal fork or something, and then they're like going to put in a electric socket, and you're telling them, "No, don't do it, no, no, no." It's like that. That's what men act like. They're like, "Well, if you don't do this, I'm gonna." You're like, "No, don't." Men really, really don't understand how to human. They understand, they just don't care because they know how much people seem to value men, and the more we devalue them and we start to treat them as actual human beings and that they're disposable in these aspects, the sooner they'll pattern up, but they're not going to because we value them too much. And they literally are using terms like this as if cheating is air, as if it's breath. You have to eat, you do not have to cheat. You have to drink water, you do not have to be married. But telling them they can't have sex unless there's consent, telling them you can't have sex with other people unless you have broken up with someone first, telling them, oh, you can't just have kids just to keep your genes on the planet, you have to actually take care of these kids, is like pulling an arm, is like pulling a tooth without anesthesia. But never mind, you know. Okay, now, okay, let me read this one. Another anonymous person, I think, said, this is very long. It's very long. I think I'm gonna. Okay, someone said, when you commit an act that is morally wrong, it changes you. You can't go back. You will never be the good husband who never cheated on his wife. You will never be the person who was able to keep the sacred promise you made to your spouse. You will never truly be trustworthy again. You damage yourself when you commit a wrong act. And no matter how well you treat your spouse, no matter how hard you try to make things right, you will forever be that person. You will never be the person you were before you fell, which is very true. And if a lot more men believe that, they wouldn't cheat. So they obviously don't. And somebody, actually, I'll save that one for last, but let me just read a bit of this really long one. This anonymous person said, I'm answering this in terms of raw logic, not emotion. This is the man who's answering this. They always say that. They're logical and emotion. They'll say the most bullshit thing, but they'll call it logic. So, this person said, this is because the punishment you will endure for doing so, oh God, doing so is far, far worse. These people have really bad grammar, I'm sorry. These are probably full grown adults writing these things. Then the crime you will commit, it really is not worth it. A lot of men, they'll say, okay, me not washing dishes in the house is bad, but my wife nagging at me about washing the dishes is worse. That's the kind of logic they have. You'll have some excitement in sex. You might even think you're in love. You might think that all along you were just with the wrong person and now you found who you really are supposed to be with. It is heady and addicting, really like a drug. In fact, many studies support that new love actually does mimic the state of drug addiction, but that only lasts a few months. The destruction you are left with will take years to repair, if you are even able to repair it at all. So they know this and yet they'll still do it. They know this. Oh God. If you actually do love your spouse and genuinely feel it was a mistake, you will have the Herculean task of convincing him or her that you are trustworthy again. For some people, this simply is not possible. Every time you are working late, your spouse will wonder if you're really just working. Every time you leave your email open, your spouse will fight the urge to check it. The deep bonds you forge when marrying will never be as strong as they once were. Everyone has this pure vision of the future when they choose a partner, and you have permanently stained it. And even if you don't really care about all of that, even if you don't really love your spouse and aren't so concerned about the rebuilding of trust, it is still terrible. This is because you have lost all leverage for the rest of your relationship. There's not supposed to be leverage in relationships. Like, people need to stop that. There's no power. There's not supposed to be power dynamics. Like, there's no leader. Your partners have an argument about finances. Well, you cheated, so there. Don't see. And this is the thing about cheaters. Don't cheat in the first place if you don't want people to throw that back in your face. Because it's true, you don't get to be a moral, like, upstanding person if you failed in one of the most blatantly immoral places available. Like, honestly, you do not get to complain about these things, because a lot of people, especially men who cheat, they take money that their wives have earned and they give it to the mistresses. I'm sorry, you don't get to complain about finances when you're basically siphoning all the finances into your cheating escapades. So, like, it's true. I honestly, if it's petty, it sounds petty. That's the thing. That's why I'm not like jumping hurdles to get into relationships with people, because it's really not worth it when this is like what you have to go through. And it said, where was I? Don't want to visit the in-laws? Well, you have to, because you cheated, and she didn't. You are permanently in debt. Then don't cheat. You are permanently trying to make up for your shortcoming. It's not a shortcoming. It was intentional. What an awful way to spend the rest of your marriage. Lastly, if you have kids, who do you think they will respect in the end? Let's say they're grown up and in college and you are now divorced. How will they choose whose house to stay at? Should they stay with dad, who cheated on mum and left her alone in her 50s? Or should they go with mum, who needs the support more, who never did anything to deserve this? You get the idea. The ripple effect of these things goes on for miles. Think hard, think smart. It might be better to spend the time and money on a marriage counsellor before venturing forth. I just hate the state of a lot of people's relationships. I really can't dwell on this, like, honestly. But make sure you talk about it in the comments, because really, I can't help but not feel sorry for these people. I just really can't. I just cannot. Because the thing about putting yourself, or being able to put yourself in the mindsets of people who do bad things, is that it becomes even more ridiculous to you to even try and implement it. It's very silly. And in this last question here, it says, have you cheated on your wife? And this person, and this is a good, actually there's two. There's two I'll read, and it's a nice way to end the video. And this man says, never. After I met my wife, I no longer needed other women. I love her and try not to upset her. If I ever cheated on her, it would sadden her greatly. And this is the worst punishment for me. I think marriage is a serious thing. Do not marry if you want to sleep with other women in secret from your wife. Oh, 5 stars. And this person said, have you cheated on your wife? And then he said, hell no, man. Why the F would you marry someone you love, your best friend, to go and do something like that? Dude! Oh god, I love these. That's so cute. I think that's a good way to end the video. But yeah, if you have not gotten anything from this, obviously do not cheat. The one thing I can't stand is when people, especially men, who will say people can't take accountability, but cheaters belong to one of the groups who cannot take accountability, and it's going to be grating for you. They have subreddits, they have groups, they have support online and in real life, support groups where they corroborate each other, where they validate and circle jerk each other over the fact, and they refer to it as the thing that I'm doing, my thing that I'm doing, what I'm doing, what I did. They don't even want to put the proper name to what they're doing and what they've done. They don't even want to. They're ashamed of it. I just think a lot of people aren't prepared to deal with the consequences that they'd put other people through. And that's why we always need to be ready to question ourselves and why we do the things we do. And we also have to remember that we have involved people in our decisions. And a lot of people really don't care about that. And that's the problem. Because if you as a person feel the need to have someone else share your life with you, you should make that experience one of the best experiences they've ever had in their lives. But a lot of people prefer to make people suffer. And that is the reason why a lot of people, especially women, do not want to be in relationships. Because what is the point? Is it worth it? Not really. And the thing is, especially when you're a woman, because most of the our reproductive rights all over the world are being discussed by people who don't even have to be affected by it. This cheating is a form of abuse. You are deliberately not letting your partner be in on this decision about your sexual relationship, of your sex life. You are putting them in danger of STDs, sometimes incurable, sometimes they'll have to live with them forever. Things that, a lot of women are very busy anyway. And then they also have to remember to take the antibiotics now because they found out the husband has been cheating, and not just that, without protection. Do you know how hard it is to probably deal with something like that? It's terrible, because I've been around people who've been cheated on, and seeing the way it makes them lose weight, it makes them look haggard and look like a shell of themselves. It makes me feel less guilty about not giving men chances, because people are like, well, you've missed out on a good man. I'm like, well, not really. Not really. That's the thing. Because I don't think my friends or I don't think my family members or the people I love are bad people, otherwise they wouldn't be in my life. When you cheat on someone, you're putting them in danger, you're putting them at risk. A lot of people are sent into like emotional turmoil because then you've changed and they don't know why and they blame themselves. A lot of cheaters, if you read these subreddits, you if you didn't know it was a cheat in subreddit, you would think they were like, oh, I just bought myself a train set and my wife really hates it. You would think that all these people are getting abused in the relationship and stuff, when they just are really selfish individuals. Like, it's very bad, and I've heard so many stories, which we'll probably look at on this channel. There's so many stories of people being taken advantage of. So many people found out their partners were cheating on them and they don't know what to do. It's so sad, and especially when you have kids. And sometimes these kids will take the side of the cheater and be like, well, you want to break up the family and stuff like that. And that's hard because then you can't bully your kids, or you can't be mean to your kids, or you can't abandon your kids. And that's why these decisions are so hard to make, because you're essentially putting your trust in this person who could one day turn on you. So we can have a discussion about this in the comments. Like and share and subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed. Thank you for listening to this video, and I'll see you in the next one.